Hi guys, welcome back to Banned Book Week, day 2. So today we are going to be talking about Sold by Patricia McCormick. So I don't know how I picked my books this year. I just went with what I could find on Audible. But there were a couple exceptions, but I really liked my books this year. And this, it was not an easy book to read, but I liked it, and I think more people need to read it. So Sold follows Lakshmi, who is a 13-year-old girl living in Nepal with her family, and I mean, they're poor, and so she gets told she's gonna go live with this auntie of hers and be a maid in this rich lady's house. And so she leaves with this auntie of hers, and then horribly she finds out at the end of this trip that she has been sold into prostitution at 13. And I mean, this is human trafficking. This is what this story is about. Human trafficking. And it's such a problem in every, I mean, I don't know about every country, but a lot of countries, including America. It's a huge problem. And it follows Lakshmi's journey, and as she tries to refuse to participate in prostitution, and she is drugged and forced into it. And then after that first encounter, I mean, with how she was raised, it's kind of how I was raised too. It's like, I mean, after you're not a virgin anymore, what use are you? So might as well just kind of go along with it, you know, because that's all that matters as a woman, is your virginity and your ability to have kids. So that's kind of the mindset. So I mean, she kind of just settles into the life of being a child prostitute because she doesn't have any choice. There's no way for her to escape. She doesn't get to keep the money she makes from it because she's basically in servitude. Like, the money she makes from her business has to go to like her room and board and her clothing, and yeah, it's just the indentured servitude that, you know, has been a problem in other times and societies, and yeah, it's awful. And then it kind of follows her journey of people trying to get her out of it and all that. And there's people that go into other countries and try and, like, on the down low, get sex slaves out of sex slavery. That's a thing. I want to say I talked to someone who had a friend who did that. Something like that. It was crazy to me. That's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But I mean, so is being in that position of being forced into that work. But yeah, it is a really good book. I highly recommend it. But why was it banned, and should it have been banned? So, Sold is a 2006 realistic fiction. So I've been getting more into what books are classified as, what makes them, what is the difference? My husband and I got into a whole big, trying to figure out, what is the difference between a kid's book, a young adult book, and an adult book? Because there's we feel like there's some blurry lines there in young adult fiction. But so I've just been kind of getting into looking into what things are actually categorized for genres. And this is a realistic fiction because while it is not based on any one story, the author based this on I mean, lots of stories this does happen, but there is no actual Lakshmi out there that went through this one specific thing. I think it's just based on lots of stories of things that have happened. So why, when, and how was this book banned? So this book that came out 18 years ago, it has 53 challenges for being sexually explicit and for rape. Okay, so obviously it's a book about sex slavery, but the way it's handled, it's handled very well, and even like Lakshmi's first experience, like she is drugged, nothing is explicitly described. I would say there is nothing explicit in this book, nothing descriptive. Like I feel like it'd be a lot. It would be hard to read, but I feel like middle schoolers, maybe junior high, I'm rusty on where that line for ages is, because I have no real clear sense of like what middle school and junior high ages are, because I didn't grow up in that setting, but could read this because it's real world stuff. It happens. It's like history, and it's not explicit or descriptive. I feel like as soon as they're learning like sex education in school, they could read this. Like, it's not anything too crazy. 11 school districts in 6 states have tied this for the 6th most banned book. I don't know if that's like of all time or just like 2023 or 2024, but that's a lot. And a Wisconsin high school removed it, saying it used explicit language to describe her assaults and trauma. And I disagree with that. That is inaccurate. That is very inaccurate and untrue. And yeah, they're just looking to get it removed, because that's not how it went down. There are some books that I feel like they're not pretty to look at, but people need to read. I'm Glad My Mom is Dead by Jeanette McCurdy is a prime example of that. It is not a pretty book to look at, but people need to read it, because people need to understand what emotional abuse looks and feels like. And that book does a perfect job. She is an amazing person. And just like, yeah, maybe you don't want to read it, but sometimes you need to read it. And this is one of those books, like, you need to realize this is happening. You might not want to admit it's happening, but you need to realize this stuff happens, and it happens in our backyard. Like, it happens in our yard, in our country. So stop pretending it doesn't by trying to ban this book that talks about it. It's silly. It's just silly. So, yeah. So yes, that is Sold by Patricia McCormick. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Have you read it? Do you think it should be banned? Yeah, I don't know. I liked this book. So, yeah. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you tomorrow for Banned Book Day 3. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.